Google announced that they no longer support rel prev next tags, but pagination is still important. Here's why. So recently, Google's John Mueller tweeted that Google has not made use of rel prev next tags for some time. But my assessment is that the reason that they did this is because the quality of the tagging web developers were using was probably poor on average. This is actually a parallel to what happened with rel author tags back in 2014 when Google discontinued support for those. Back at that time, we actually did a study on how well those were actually implemented by people at the time. We'll share that in the show notes below. But this study showed that 71% of the sites with prominent readership made no attempt to implement authorship or implemented it incorrectly. So many of those who had implemented it just didn't understand exactly how to do it, and they just got it wrong. So that said, what should we do to support paginating page sequences now? Well, if you have prev next tags, you could still use them on your page if you want. Google won't use them. Bing might use them. We don't actually know for sure. But if you are going to keep them on your pages, make sure they're implemented correctly. You do have to take the time to learn how to follow the specs carefully and get it right. And then, putting aside the prev next tags for a moment, let's think about how you should implement pagination otherwise on your page. Our first preference is to implement that pagination in clean HTML tags that are visible in the source code for the pages on your site, something that's easy for the search engines to parse. The second choice would be to implement it in a way that maybe isn't clean in the source code, but you can actually still see it in the DOM or the document object model. So that means that your links are going to be in anchored tags with a valid href attribute, not span or button elements with attached JavaScript click events. So paginated pages should also canonical to themselves. So that's a good reinforcing signal. And so these are the things that you need. So the reason why this is still important, though, is pagination is something that still matters to users. If you've got 200 products in a particular category, you probably don't want to show 200 products on one single page. So breaking that up into many pages is actually a very good way to make the content more parsable and readable and usable for users. So this is really why pagination is still important. But make sure you get that pagination implemented the correct way as I've outlined in today's video. Thanks so much for watching today. Please subscribe to our channel using the link that you'll see in the show notes below.